Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about the moon sextile or trine Jupiter in Synastry. Now, first off, the unconscious side, the inner personality, is which is the moon or the moon person, uh, can be compatible and in harmony with what the Jupiter person has exuberance and enthusiasm for. And you also have, the Jupiter person may easily, make the moon person laugh, and they can bring jocularity into their life and bring, their jovial side can really be beneficial to uplifting the moon person's mood in many instances. And if the Jupiter is in Taurus, it could be like body humor. If the Jupiter person has their Jupiter in Capricorn is another example. The humor may be of a political nature or just very, conventional orthodox humor. Or if the Jupiter person has their Jupiter in Aquarius as another example, the humor may be a little bit off the wall, a little bit bizarre, unusual, very unique. So the thing about this too is that the Jupiter person can be beneficial to the moon person's home life, and such as making adding a part, even as far as just making the home maybe a better situation for the moon individual. Could be just simply expanding it through some kind of home remodeling, renovation, adding a partition. The Jupiter person may come through for the moon person in that regard. Another thing too is that the moon person, is generally would be in the mood to engage. It could be in sports or outdoor activities with the Jupiter person. If Aquarius, Jupiter, say, person's Jupiter in Libra, maybe those sports activities can include tennis, gymnastics, sports of balance. Uh, Jupiter is in Aries, maybe it's combat sports, the more volatile ones, such as football or hockey, boxing, combat sports in general. Another thing too is that when you look at this Synastry aspect, the Jupiter person, may be enthusiastic regarding the introverted activities that are associated with the moon person. If the moon person has their moon in Aquarius, it could simply be doing things on the internet or just computer games, maybe playing electronic games. It could be something even with model rockets in some instances, tech labs. This could be when you have the moon sextile trine Jupiter in Synastry. I could see this as a very good, balance between doing things, more indoors and outdoors. And these people may often be able to compromise, with these two different things and have a good balance between them. It makes it a very good Synastry aspect for them. It's also very positive. And for the the introverted, the moon person's home life really is where this Synastry aspect can be very auspicious. And another thing too about the Synastry aspect is that the Jupiter person, may be able, to express that truth to the moon person. Speak with, being veracious without hurting the moon person's feelings. If the Jupiter person, say, needs to get something off his or her chest and needs to be, outspoken regarding some issue, it could be stated in a way, and whether constructive manner or what have you, which would not, where the moon person would likely not take offense or become defensive regarding it, or would cause not cause emotional upset. The thing about this Synastry aspect too is that the Jupiter person may easily, as far as the positive traits, may emphasize and accentuate those positive traits. And that moon individual, be able to focus on that and not so much on the negative. Let's say the moon person has their moon in Virgo. The Jupiter person may focus on those analytical qualities, the detail-oriented qualities, and of the Jupiter, of the moon in Virgo person, the person being very scrupulous, being very meticulous with things, things of that nature. And you have to, another thing too about this synastry aspect is that, when you look at this as well, it can also be, when I'm talking about the moon person, I'm talking about the subconscious side or the unconscious part of the person, the inner personality. And another thing too is that the moon person may really care about the Jupiter person's beliefs and really be able to listen well when the Jupiter person may be philosophizing and expressing his or her opinion regarding an issue. Now, as I've stated with previous videos, in previous videos, I'll state in this one as well, is that, in my earlier videos, I talked about in the natal chart videos, that you never isolate, any single, astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on that alone, because the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart, not just one. And the same applies for synastry aspects. You're going to have, one synastry aspect certainly doesn't make or break a connection or a relationship, and the moon sextile or trine Jupiter is no exception to that. And most synastry charts are going to have a plethora of aspects between person A and person B, and you could have, you could have some other aspects that can offset, a positive one to some degree, or a negative one to some degree. Now, in this case, the moon sextile or trine Jupiter, the basic, interpretation remains the same regardless of the other sinister aspects. But, if you have, let's say, for example, okay, you have this moon sextile or trine Jupiter in synastry between person A and person B. But let's say at the same time, the moon person has their moon square or opposite the Jupiter person's Saturn in synastry. The Saturn person, at times may make that moon person maybe feel a little gloomy or be more pessimistic, or bring up, more of the negative traits, the subconscious traits of the moon person that's connected with the inner personality. Jupiter, the Saturn person may make the moon person feel somewhat, despondent. At times, the moon, let's say if the moon is square or opposite Pluto, it's synastry, the Pluto person might try to, manipulate, it might be about emotional manipulation, and try to manipulate the moon person into feeling a certain way when it shouldn't be. So there has to be, you have to look at all the synastry aspects between person A and person B when you're delineating synastry charts. And anyway, the thing though is, as far as this aspect goes, still by itself, it is a very good aspect, and for a person's home life, and the Jupiter person can often, uplift that moon person if he or she is feeling, disconsolate or despondent or what have you. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, Edwin Learnard saying, stay well.